Alright, this is going to be my Captain America Brave New World movie review. Now, this movie was one of my most anticipated movies of 2025, and I'm not going to lie, I was pretty disappointed. The movie is directed by Julius Ona, it's about 2 hours long, and it is getting some pretty mixed reviews. You can see on IMDb it's got a 5.9, on Rotten Tomatoes it's got a 53% critic score. So let's start off with pros and then cons, and then I'll give you guys my rating out of 10. So the first positive that I have is the cast. I think the cast is really, really good. Performances across the board were really solid. I think Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford both have the top performances in this film. Harrison Ford absolutely crushes it as Thunderbolt Ross, and then Anthony Mackie is really charismatic and fun to watch as Sam Wilson. And another really great performance is Carl Lumbly as Isaiah Bradley. I thought he did a great job, and I think they could have used him more in this movie. Next, I would say the action was pretty solid in this film, even though it's very hit or miss. I found a lot of the more extravagant action scenes, like aerial battle scenes where you guys have seen in the trailer at Tiamat Island. I thought that was pretty good. I thought the Red Hulk fight was also pretty good, but it should have been a bit longer. But basically what I'm trying to say is all of the big extravagant fights were well done, but some of the smaller stuff like the hand-to-hand combat was just not very great. The choreography was a little off, the fights were a little slow, it felt like very choreographed, like it didn't feel real, and sometimes it was a little bit slow as well. My next positive is the first 30 minutes of the movie. The whole feeling there, the vibe of this spy espionage thriller, it was really, really working for me, but then that kind of feeling just went out the window and it felt like a very generic movie, and it almost kind of felt like a big budget Falcon and the Winter Soldier really long episode at certain points. But that first 30 minutes was really, really solid. Yeah, sure, the dialogue wasn't fantastic in some of the scenes, but overall, the first 30-40 minutes was really good. Another positive I had was the pacing. I thought the pacing actually worked for me. I didn't really feel bored at any moments. Everything was flowing in a pretty decent way considering all of the reshoots that have happened with this movie, and I thought they edited it in a way where, it kind of flowed all right. I'm not saying it has the best pacing ever, sure it was clunky here and there, but I thought it was okay. I also thought they did a pretty good job with making Sam Wilson unique, because you could really just make him feel almost exactly like Steve Rogers, but they really made him feel like his own character, which I really appreciate. He's got a new Falcon, he's got this really cool Captain America, almost like hideout or HQ, which I thought was really cool, like all of these little collectibles and stuff from his journey as Falcon and now Captain America were all around this HQ, and I really hope we revisit that area because it was just really, really cool. And I don't know, I think they just did a good job at making sure that Sam Wilson feels different than Steve Rogers. I also appreciated that they talked about the whole super soldier serum and how, people are telling him, like, oh, you don't need it, like, you're your own guy. And Sam's like, yeah, like, I agree. But then at some moments, he's like, oh, I should have taken it. And honestly, I know this is a hot take, but I think he should take it. I know he doesn't in the comics, and I know the whole thing is he doesn't need it because of his suit and who he is and all that. But I just think it would be badass if he was basically, super strong, super fast, and then also had the Falcon suit. I just think that would be so cool, like flying Mach 1, land, and then just like punch someone across a room. That's cool. Which I know is a major, major hot take, and some people absolutely hate that, and they don't want Sam to ever get the super soldier serum, but I just think it would make him a more entertaining character to watch. But anyways, guys, that is my positives with the movie. Basically, the cast delivers, the action's pretty good, the story's okay. I think it's entertaining enough that people will enjoy it. Well, let's talk about the negatives now, because there's a lot. So my first is the CGI. There is some very, very poor CGI in this movie. I would say the Tiamat Island flight scene, there is a lot of CGI in there, and it really does feel like a video game. For whatever reason, they keep doing the nanotech helmets as well, and in that scene, Sam, puts the helmet on and off a couple of times, and I just hate the nanotech so much. And I hope it goes away for the Avengers movies because it's so frustrating, like whoop, whoop, whoop all the time. I don't like it. But on top of that, in that flight scene, like there is a lot of CGI in there. And it really takes you out of the movie because this is supposed to be like a high stakes aerial battle, but you can really tell that there is some shoddy CGI there and it really takes you out of the film. Then I would say the CGI on the Hulk at the end. You guys have seen this battle advertised in all of the trailers and everything. The CGI on the Red Hulk is not fantastic. There were a lot of cuts to close-ups of his face, which look a lot better, but when they have like full body shots, it does not look that good. And that is a common thing with VFX, is making, red things like a Hulk look realistic. It's just very hard to do with the color red. And you can really see that in the third act of Captain America Brave New World. Like, you can really just tell that it is a computer-generated image of a giant Hulk because it really stands out. And that sucks to say because Red Hulk is one of my favorite Marvel characters ever. This story and this character is what got me into comic books as a little kid. So seeing the Red Hulk was fantastic. It was amazing to see Red Hulk in IMAX, but, some of the CGI wasn't the greatest, so it kind of disappointed me. Then I would say the cinematography wasn't great in this. Like, I thought it was serviceable, it was okay, but there's not really any memorable shots. Like, the movie doesn't look amazing. Like, something like Dune, pretty much like every shot looks very, very good. But this movie, it's just not the best looking film. Like, it's okay. I also didn't find the script very strong, and then on top of that, there was some characters that were kind of annoying, like Joaquin. He's basically just like a fanboy army dude. Which is fine, it makes sense. He is teaming up with Captain America. There's talks of him maybe joining the Avengers, so obviously he's going to be, really excited. But I just found his character kind of annoying at some points, and I didn't really like him that much. I thought the chemistry between him and Sam Wilson was good, but I haven't been won over with the whole Joaquin Torres character just yet. I do think I'm gonna, warm up to him a little bit, like maybe by the time we see him in like Avengers Doomsday or something. I feel like a lot of fans are gonna like him in that, especially with the Russo brothers directing, but for whatever reason in Brave New World, I just didn't like him a whole lot. And that feeds into another negative I had with this movie, is that there's just too many side characters that don't have their time to shine. The first one being Joaquin Torres as Falcon. Yeah, he's in it for a decent amount, but he doesn't do a whole lot. Another character is the ex-Black Widow, Ruth here. She's like the assistant to the president. She's kind of just in the movie. She is kind of like the hardball military person that doesn't agree with the protagonist and then eventually warms up to them. But it happens way too quickly, and I just didn't believe any of her action scenes. This woman in real life is only 5 feet on the dot tall. She's super, super small. Like, I would assume maybe 85, 90 pounds. Like, she is tiny. And she is just throwing people around, beating them up, and I'm like, what is going on? It just was too unbelievable. The hand-to-hand combat when she's fighting like 250-pound military guys, I just couldn't believe it. I'm sorry. I also feel like Giancarlo Esposito was wasted in this movie. He only had maybe like 7 minutes of screen time, and he doesn't do a whole lot. If he wasn't in the movie, almost nothing changes. So yeah, a whole lot of characters that needed way more screen time. The leader as a villain, I don't think really worked that well. Like, it was great to see Tim Blake Nelson back, but his master plan was not very good in my opinion, and it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And for whatever reason, they changed up his character design because the promo art for this movie, this is what he looked like. A pretty comic book accurate leader, I would say, but in the actual movie, he looks more like a zombie. But yeah, he has this big master plan. It's supposed to be a mystery, and it doesn't really work. Like, I think they did a much better job with Zemo in Captain America Civil War. That was a pretty intricate plan. But in this movie, the master plan is just very obvious and very weird, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The movie also felt like a bit of filler. We had to revisit Tiamat Island and explain adamantium. Then it was like a follow-up to The Incredible Hulk 2. Then it was a follow-up to Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So it just felt like a movie where there was a huge checklist that they had to get through in order to make this thing and really, pivot the MCU towards like Avengers Doomsday. So yeah, guys, overall, I was pretty disappointed with Captain America Brave New World. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. I think it's a bang average movie. And just remember, that means average. A lot of people think 5 out of 10 means bad, but no, that just means it's an average film, which I think it is. Let me know what you thought about Captain America Brave New World down below in the comments.